And good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to today's episode of Law, News, and Laughter. Look at that, I hit it right on time, I'm not muted. Where is the boomerang going to come from today? In the news today, we have a former employee suing his employer for receiving a phallic-shaped chocolate from HR. Believe it or not, he's going for racial discrimination. We have the, New Jersey Supreme Court it's all about discrimination today. New Jersey Supreme Court has ruled that sexual abuse is a form of discrimination. We'll talk about the twisted fucker. Oh, damn it. I'm like 2 minutes in. Oh, well. We also have a mother suing a school district over alleged police brutality against her autistic son. And we have an individual suing Brisbane City Council over a meme that he made about the Communist Party from China. How about we get stuck into it, people? Welcome to Law, News, and Laughter.
This shit I'm out.
Alrighty, let's start with moving things around here. Mother sues school district over alleged police brutality against her autistic son. A South Carolina woman is filing a lawsuit against the Aiken County School District and the North Augusta Department of Public Safety. The lawsuit comes after a violent 2021 incident involving her special needs son. According to the complaint, her son is on the autism spectrum with expressive language delay. He was having a mental health crisis on August 27, 2021, when he approached a student resources officer at North Augusta High School, was tackled to the ground, handcuffed, and arrested, according to the complaint. I'm kind of in two minds about this. If it's the first instance in which the school resources officer has dealt with this particular individual, having been present at certain meltdowns by those that are mentally challenged, sometimes it can seem as if they are coming off a very bad trip. I'm not willing to castrate the resource officer just yet. Charges of assault and disorderly conduct against the student were dismissed. According to the complaint, the student resource officer used excessive force and falsely arrested the student. Brannon alleges the school is not prepared to care for special needs students and that she has repeatedly protected him from harm at school. If the school is not prepared, then why would you have him in there? Why is that somewhere that would be appropriate for your son? Like that, there's a certain level of parental responsibility there as well. But damn, that was shorter than I expected it to be. Okay, where are we? Alright, let's go for the judge that brandished a handgun in court. A New York judge who brandished a handgun in court is not likely to be reinstated. A small-town judge who whipped out a gun on a black litigant in his courtroom will likely remain kicked off the bench as the state's high court seemed unpersuaded to overturn his removal. Judge Robert Petorti, who has served as the justice for White House Town since 2014, was told to step down last year following an investigation into a 2015... How the hell has it taken... Okay, 8 years. Fair enough. Following the 2015 incident in which he quickly took out and pointed a handgun at a litigant, then boasted about the incident in news articles and in front of other judges and court personnel. During Tuesday's hearing, the 5 judges on the Court of Appeal who heard the arguments seemed inclined to uphold the removal. Noting the judge's behaviour after he found out he was under investigation and heightened standards of members of the judiciary. He's a judge. We're supposed to be looking at him as a judge, said Judge Shirley Troutman. We have to conduct ourselves in a certain manner and in a manner that does not negatively impact on our administration of justice or our ability to fulfill our responsibilities. Look, I'm all for the Second Amendment. I think whipping out a gun in the middle of a court hearing, though, may be an issue. So... just a few bad judges, myth busted. Bus driver I was working with was bitten by a special needs student. School has to have special needs have to allow special needs kids. Okay. Kaylin. Yeah, family's doing well. Thank you for asking. Hope you are too. Okay. The complaint stems from an incident in late 2015 in which he pulled out a gun on a black man who had rushed past the stop line in front of the bench. The man had been sentenced by Patory for a knife assault on 2 people. Okay. In my opinion, this sort of makes a little bit of a difference. This is an instance where someone who has been convicted of a dangerous crime has rushed at the judge. Okay. Initially, the only account of the incident was an informal interview by his cousin, a journalism student at Hofstra University, during which he described whipping out the firearm on a large black man. However, in 2018, he also bragged about the altercation to other judges during a conversation about courthouse security, and had described the man as being built like a football player. Patorti was counselled by his supervising judge and told never to display his gun in court unless there was a threat of deadly force. However, he also was found to have acted inappropriately by holding fundraisers for himself and the Whitehall Elks Lodge in 2019 and 2020 without properly identifying himself as a judge. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit... In 2020, the Commission on the Judicial Conduct voted 10-1 to remove him from the bench for engaging in highly inappropriate conduct, a serious lack of judgment when he boasted about brandishing his gun in the courtroom, and a lack of attention to his ethical obligations when he engaged in improper fundraising. I feel like this is more about the fundraising, if I'm perfectly honest now. According to the order, the justice had also brandished his gun at somebody who had approached him and his grandfather while he tried to retrieve a stolen car, as well as an incident in 2015 during which police officers in Virginia reported he carried a firearm into a convenience store at 3 o'clock in the morning. The courthouse is where threats or acts of gun violence are meant to be resolved, not generated, said Commission Administrator Robert Tembekjian at the time. To then brag about it repeatedly with irrelevant racial remarks is utterly indefensible and against the role of a judge. The sole dissenter, Ronald Rosenberg, found the decision unjust, unwarranted, and overly harsh, suggesting that the judge be admonished or censured instead. Following his removal, the state's Court of Appeal suspended him without pay. His term was set to expire in 2025. On Tuesday, Tembekjian urged the Court of Appeals to keep him off the bench, saying he did something that no judge should do, and noting the prejudice of the administration of justice from the incident warranted removal. Much of the hearing was spent on him retelling the incident, in particular referring to the litigant as a large black man. Dude, shut up. In the context of fearing for his safety and the reason for pulling the gun. Guns are illegal after 2 a.m., are they? Oh, well, there you go. Words are hard, Hayden. Yes, they are this morning. Words are hard this morning. What does the black add to the threat, said Chief Judge Rowan Wilson, asking of his attorney. He didn't describe what clothing the litigant was wearing because it was irrelevant to the threat. Attorney Nathaniel Riley, who represented Patorti, conceded that the litigant's race meant nothing to the threat and that his client merely was describing the incident to others, even if he exaggerates the man's size. Riley also said that Patorti only boasted about exercising his Second Amendment rights, not pointing a gun at a black man, and that there was no mention of race in the initial article. That did not sway Troutman, though, who, along with Wilson, was one of the 2 black members of the High Court. It is only after it's published he's proud of the article, then race starts getting inserted and reinserted, she countered, critiquing later that mentioning the litigant's race and exaggerating his size could be the evidence of a stereotype. Judge should have said Second Amendment, beach, and dropped the mic and walked out. Oh, biatch. Riley recommended no more than censure, noting that the judge had cooperated with the investigation, had no prior disciplinary hearing, and entered a stipulation of facts that shortened the process, and was otherwise fully compliant. Yeah, okay, look, Your Honour, don't whip out your weapon in the middle of court. That goes metaphorically as well as figuratively. You have a bailiff there for a reason. They're generally armed. I'm not okay with instances of seeing judges rushed when they're on the bench. Like, we have seen videos where there are individuals that try and jump over the bench to attack judges. I think I've even showed a few of the videos here, and I was worried because I was going to get demonetized. I know that at least one of those videos got the monetization yanked off of it. Petition for Aussie to read the articles in an accent. Denied. I already read these articles in an accent, in an Australian accent. There isn't video of this particular one, I don't believe. But, yeah. Okay. Oh, and then there's this jerk-off. Video shows SPD cop laughing and joking about a pedestrian killed by an officer the day earlier. Newly released body cam footage shows a Seattle police officer audibly laughing and joking on a cell phone the day after an incident where a fellow officer had hit and killed a pedestrian with their patrol car. The officer on the call is identified as Seattle Police Officer Guild Vice President Daniel Orderer. Orderer can be heard talking about the incident where a 23-year-old exchange student was hit by Officer Kevin Dave. Shortly after saying that she's dead, Orderer laughs and says it's a regular person, referring to the deceased. He then says, just write a check, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value. Orderer also mentions that Dave was going 50 miles an hour, stating how that's not out of control for a trained driver. A report released in June revealed that Dave was actually travelling at 74 miles an hour in a 25 zone, while responding on a different call. Orderer had responded to the scene on the night of January 23 to the conduct of a drug recognition test on Dave. According to the timestamp on the body cam video, Orderer's phone call about the incident took place the following evening. The comments made by the officer have sparked a lot of outrage in the area. I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Especially for people who live in the South Lake Union neighborhood. I don't know, that is just, she had an entire family. I've read about her. She had an entire family and a career ahead of her. Yeah, because a lot of people don't have families. Like, at least one person that cares and loves for them and is, yeah, okay. Toyman99X, hello. We played the video for people and read the comments made. Many people argue the comments were out of line. I think these people need to be investigated. This kind of behavior is not expected from a public servant, especially in that moment. Shub, who lives in Seattle, said, okay. Like, laughing is one, but those comments, they were even worse than the laughter, one woman said. According to a post from Seattle Police Department, the video of Aura's call was identified in the routine course of business by the department employees and was escalated to Chief Adrian Diaz. It was then referred to the Office of Police Accountability for a full investigation. They say it released the video in the interest of transparency, but will not comment further on it until OPA finishes their investigation. Seattle's civilian-led Community Police Commission released its own statement asserting that this speaks to the concerns that the Seattle Community Police Commission has repeatedly raised about elements of the police department culture and SPOG? The hell is SPOG? Resistance to officer accountability. Seattle Police Office of what? Measures included in the landmark 2017 Police Accountability Ordinance. The people of Seattle deserve better from a police department that is charged with fostering trust in the community and ensuring public safety. We have also reached out to SPOG for comment and are awaiting response. Okay, here is the video. Why are you going full? It won't let me go full screen. Following video is identified in the routine course of business by a department employee who, concerned about the nature of the statements heard on the video, appropriately escalated it. The accountability ordinance is clear and seeking to preserve the integrity of OPA investigations. While any incident of public concern is under OPA, SPD, or OIG review, no city employee should comment. Okay, no one cares. I want to hear the footage.
All right, brother. Well, yep. I'm sure TCIS is. And oh, he's good. He says, well, normally we don't give voluntary statements. And I said, hey, you're going to have to decide if you wanted to give a statement or not. But it does not seem like there's a criminal investigation going on. Otherwise, there would be other... What's that?
Interesting.
Otherwise, there might be other people arriving, correct?
Other people, yeah. Office of Internal Affairs,
I mean,
yeah.
He's going 50.
Oh, the Seattle police officer's good. Thank you.
That's not reckless for a trained driver. Yeah, lights and sirens. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's some. Initially, he said she was in a crosswalk. There's a witness that says no, she wasn't. But that witness could be different because I don't think she was thrown 40 feet either.
40 feet?
I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield. Then when he hit the brakes, flew off the car. But she is dead. No, it's a regular person. Yeah. Yeah, just write a check. Just... Yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's not okay. Yeah, no. No. Oh, hang on, there's another 7 seconds. Let's see how much this guy can dig himself more of a hole. Oh, it looks like he realized that the body camera was on. Huh. So they fired the hell out of this waste of cells. Doesn't sound like it. Sounds like he is still on the case. I'm concerned about the lack of empathy that was displayed there, to say the least. RIP his career, yeah. So that's, yeah. And then the afterthought about the body camera footage, that's just moron. Oh, all right. Where is... I'm sure by now everyone's seen the millions of litres of wine flowing down a street in Italy. Cursed painting sells for more than £1,600, almost £1,000 then, after twice being returned to a charity shop. The last owner, Zoe Elliott Brown, said she took the painting back to the charity shop after being chased by an unidentified black figure. Racist. A cursed portrait of a little girl that has twice been returned to a charity shop for being haunted has been sold for more than £1,680 in an online auction. The painting went viral after it was pictured at an East Sussex charity shop with a warning saying, "She's back, sold twice, returned twice. Are you brave enough?" Zoe Elliott Brown was the last person to buy the portrait from Hastings Advice and Representation Centre in August. She told ITV's This Morning that after the purchase, she was chased by an unidentified black figure and took the painting back to the shop. Miss Elliott Brown returned to Hark a few days later to see if the painting had been sold for a third time. On finding it still up for grabs, she decided to take it home and put it up for auction on eBay. Shortly after the listing, an offer of £450 was made, but that has now more than tripled with the final bid of £1,680 1 pence, with Hark now set to receive 50% of the profit sales. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, okay. I rather like that picture. Does look creepy though. It does. And it's sort of like, I mean, this sort of looks like a blood wound and a few other things there. It's a bit creepy. Where are we? Oh, video evidence shows that the TSA agents are allegedly stealing from passengers at Miami International Airport. Surveillance video has been released in the case of 3 TSA agents who were arrested for stealing from passengers as they went through security at Miami International Airport. The video appears to show the TSA workers taking money from the passengers. Local 10 News first reported the trio of agents, 33-year-old Liberius Williams, 20-year-old Jesu Gonzalez, and 22-year-old Elizabeth Fuster back in July. On Monday, surveillance video released from the state attorney's office as part of the discovery showed those agents working security at MIA on June 29. Investigators have not confirmed where the thefts took place in the more than 20 minutes of video, but in a clip partially labelled $800, an agent is seen fiddling with a small bag and appears to pull out a wallet. He stays with that bin down the conveyor belt until he pushes it through before putting his hand in his pocket. Another clip labelled Gonzalez $600. 2 TSA agents are focused on the corner of a bag inside of a bin. One appears to quickly pocket something there. Investigators said they were working together to steal from passengers during the screening process. According to an arrest report, MIA's federal security director contacted Miami-Dade Police Department detectives about punctuation about the recent ongoing thefts at the security checkpoint in Concourse E. The 3 were hit with charges of organised schemes to defraud. Police say 2 of the suspects, Williams and Fuster, confessed to investigators. The 3 cases are still pending in the court system. Amateur hour, got to find the blind spots. TSA is useless. Let's have a look at this video. Because they've cut it down from however many hours to a minute and a half, which is good.
Now to a crime on camera. TSA agents caught in the act stealing from passengers during screening.
And Local 10 crime specialist Bridget Matter is at Miami International Airport with a new video tonight.
We're seeing new video used by prosecutors to help prove their case. The video appears to show those TSA workers taking money from passengers and security. 2 months ago, Local 10 told you about the arrest of 3 TSA agents.
Not gonna say a word.
Accused of stealing from passengers at Miami International Airport. Tonight, newly released surveillance video from the state attorney's office as part of discovery shows those agents working security at MIA on June 29th. Investigators have not confirmed where the thefts took place in the more than 20 minutes of video, but watch closely. In this clip, partially labeled $800, an agent is seen fiddling with a small bag and appears to pull out a wallet. We stopped the video to give you a better look. He stays with that bin down the conveyor belt until he pushes it through before putting his hand in his pocket. In another clip labeled Gonzalez $600, 2 TSA agents are focused on the corner of a bag inside of a bin. One appears to quickly pocket something here. Miami-Dade police arrested Liberius Williams, Jesu Gonzalez, and Elizabeth Fuster. Investigators say they worked together to steal from passengers during the screening process. According to an arrest report, MIA's federal security director contacted Miami-Dade Police Department detectives about recent ongoing thefts at the security.
Wait, why are you just reading out the entire news article? I just did that. I just wanted to see the footage. But, like, seriously, how could you make it any more freaking obvious that you're doing something shifty? For crying out loud. But anyway. No worries, Rose, you have a good day too. Okay. There you go. That was an absolute trigger warning. You have no excuses. I have let you know. A twisted fucker has eaten a rat poison laced Snickers bar in court after he's found guilty of sex attacks to try and escape justice. A twisted fucker sneaked a bite of a poisoned chocolate bar he smuggled into court in a desperate bid to escape justice as he was found guilty of sex acts. The 76-year-old had injected the Snickers bar with a lethal poison before the verdict was delivered in the County Court of Victoria. As the verdict on his evil was being handed down, he pulled the spiked snack from his pocket and managed to eat a mouthful at the hearing in June. But the apparent suicide attempt failed, and instead the poison damaged his kidneys, and he injured his shoulder and dislocated a finger as he fell to the ground in agony. My heart bleeds. He's been found guilty of 2 historical crimes of sexual penetration of a child under 16 and 2 counts of committing indecent acts with a child under 16. The moment that first guilty charge was read out, that's when he consumed the Snickers bar, defense lawyer Fraser Cameron said. That's how he handled the verdict. He was fearful, and rightfully so. Who's snickering now? That's terrible. The offender, who can't be named for legal reasons, was later released from hospital and has been held in prison awaiting his sentence in the 3 months since. The treatment for his injuries after the verdict has been successful, Cameron said to the Sydney Morning Herald. He's stabilised in custody. The man faced court on Monday from prison for to hear a victim impact statement from the young girl he targeted after the death of her father more than 30 years ago. The court was told he abused her from a young age, from the young age of just 4, for a decade at a home in regional Victoria, and threatened to kill the rest of her family if she ever spoke out. She said the abuse was almost daily, branding him an evil monster, and said the memories of her ordeal still haunted her decades later. I was a scared little girl who cried herself to sleep, wishing her father would come back to save me, she said to the court as she read out her statement. My adulthood is still tormented by your insanity. I was your favourite mistake. My entire childhood I was groomed and abused. But she said she tried to overcome the devastating attacks and added, I am a survivor. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. He'll be sentenced at a later date and faces up to 10 years in jail as a serious sex offender. And see, I'm not going to lie, this is one of the points where I have issues with sentencing in court. Yes, he's 79. 10 years is effectively a life sentence. Hell, it's effectively a death sentence once he gets in there. But she has been tortured for her entire life. And as bad as it sounds, I feel like the younger the child is, the more reprehensible the crime and the more severely he needs to be punished. I mean, as bad as it sounds, I do feel like there's a difference between engaging in sexual conduct with, say, a 17-year-old and touching a 4-year-old. On the one hand, I'm glad that he survived so that he can face what he's going to face in prison. On the other hand, I wish the Snickers bar had finished him off, because it sounds like he was at least in pain. So, got that. It came out of nowhere. Dashcam footage shows office chair flying into a car windshield. In Lehi, Utah, a family is grateful their dashcam recorded the moment when a part of an office chair was catapulted into their windshield. I don't even know where an office chair would come from. It seems like maybe it's heavy enough to stay in your truck bed. But definitely not because it was on the road, said passenger Lily Eaton. The Eaton family was heading southbound on Interstate 15 in Lehi? Saturday afternoon. When they say the base of the chair without wheels flew at their car. We could see it looked like a rock or something flying towards us, Lily said. We're like, oh, that's weird. Oh, that's going to hit us. Lily's mother was driving and her older sister Arabella, who was sitting in the passenger seat. Eaton sat in the back seat between her 3-year-old sister Charlotte and her partner. I was talking to my family and then all of a sudden the whole windshield is completely shattered. The video shows a metal piece hitting the passenger side of the windshield directly in front. I was trying to reach around and see her face. What about Charlotte, who's sitting next to me? I was trying to make sure my 3-year-old sister was okay and nothing hit her. She had a bit of glass on her. Lily's mother, Leah Eaton, pulled over to the shoulder while Lily called 911. When I was on the phone with the 911 operator, she said, can you pull over to the subway because we're dealing with another fatal accident. Hearing that, I was like, we're good, we're okay, everybody is safe. The Eaton said Arabella had cuts across her legs and from the glass, but other than that, no one was injured. It was kind of the luckiest unlucky thing because it didn't go through the windshield. Holy shit. Where's the dashcam footage?
One at the other on a rant, and then they'd be like, oh, sorry for sending you.
Here's this story, but let me tell you one more.
But actually,
Not seeing anything yet.
And they kept bringing
Oh! Okay. Fatal accident. The other chair got the job done. What's that? Local radio keeps count of the mattresses found on the highway each year. Lehigh, thank you. That's nuts.
Actually, this is funny. And they kept
Because it must have been kicked up from the other side of the freeway and it's come flying. Look at that.
Mommy, what the hell was that?
Far out.
I'm gonna call Dad. Should I call the cops? Yeah. I don't.
Should I call the cops? I love the initial reaction. I'm going to call Dad. And then it's like, oh, should I call the police?
We're okay. Mommy, I'm okay.
Oh, at least the car in front of them stopped as well. Look at that.
What exit are we closest to? We're on
Exit 279 headed south.
Far out. Hang on. Let's see if we can catch it.
But actually, this is funny. And they kept.
We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Oh, jeez. That's insane. Far out. Oh, far out. Okay. All right, moving on. So an FDA panel has said that common over-the-counter decongestion doesn't work because apparently if it doesn't work in your meth, it's not going to cure your cough. A key ingredient in many over-the-counter cold and allergy medications called phenylprine. Yeah, it's just phenylprine. Doesn't work to get rid of nasal decongestion, the Federal Drug and Administration Advisory Panel concluded on Tuesday. The unanimous vote, which specifically declared oral formulations of it ineffective, is expected to disrupt the market for the over-the-counter drug, cold and allergy remedies, which consumers largely prefer pills over nasal sprays. The drug, which is found in the chemical which is found in drugs including Sudafed PE, Vicks NyQuil, Cenex Nighttime Sinus Relief, and Benadryl Allergy Plus Congestion, is the most popular oral decongestant in the United States, generating almost $1.8 billion in sales last year, according to the data presented Monday by FDA officials. Don't know what's going on with my reading today. Yeah, okay, so all of a sudden, something provided by pharmaceutical companies that generates $1.8 billion a year is proven to have no effect whatsoever. What could I possibly be describing? Oh, cold and flu medicine. Okay, moving on. The drug is thought to relieve congestion by reducing the swelling of blood vessels in the nasal passages. The panel's vote reflects damning evidence provided by the FDA that found that when the drug is taken orally, a very small amount of the drug actually reaches the nose to relieve congestion. Susan Blarlock, that's an unfortunate name, a retired professor at UNC Elshman School of Pharmacy in North Carolina and an advisory committee member, said the evidence is pretty compelling that the medication is not effective. I don't think additional data is needed to support that conclusion. The FDA will now need to decide whether to revoke the drug's over-the-counter designation, as generally recognized as safe and effective. The designation, typically used for older drugs, allows drug makers to include an ingredient in over-the-counter products without the need to file an FDA application. Without the designation, products containing the ingredient may need to be removed from store shelves, or manufacturers may need to develop new formulations. A spokesperson for the FDA declined to say when the agency will make a final decision. The FDA usually sides with its advisory committees. All I'm hearing is I need to snort them instead to get full effect. If it doesn't work as an oral medication, does it work as a nasal spray? Presumably. Call me a cynic, call me paranoid, call me whatever you want. How much you want to bet in the next... Actually, let's have a look at the... It's probably a good idea to have a look at the history for the last, 2 or 3 weeks, whether or not there have been any new decongestant drugs released on the market. I'm just curious. I'm wondering exactly who the hell is going to make a shit ton of money out of this. This drug and this oral dose should have been removed from the market a long time ago, said Jennifer Schwartzot, a patient representative from New York. The patient community requires and deserves medications that treat their symptoms safely and effectively, and I don't believe that this medication does. The drug gained popularity in the early 2000s as a replacement for pseudoephedrine, the decongestant used in Sudafed, which was moved behind the counter in 2006 in an attempt to curb its misuse in the ingredient to make methamphetamine. During the 2-day meeting, FDA scientists presented the results of 5 studies conducted over the past 2 decades on the effectiveness of the oral drug. I don't want to say it. I stuff it up and it doesn't sound right. All the studies concluded the decongestant was no more effective than a placebo. Then give me placebos. Give me the placebo. Bitch, give me the placebo. They also reevaluated the initial findings used to support the over-the-counter use. The agency found that the results were inconsistent and did not meet modern standards for study design and may have had data integrity issues. In conclusion, we believe that the original studies were methodologically unsound, and do not match today's standard. By contrast, we believe that the new data are credible and do not provide evidence that the oral drug is as effective as a nasal decongestant. Hayden, come on. I know you haven't had a V this morning, but come on. Come on. Now they can only make small batch meth. The concern goes beyond ineffectiveness. The drug can come with side effects such as headaches, insomnia, and nervousness. At higher doses, it can increase blood pressure. The panel is not questioning the effectiveness of the nasal spray, which is still thought to provide temporary relief for congestion. Well, there you go. Representatives for the Consumer Healthcare Products Association, a group that represents over-the-counter drug manufacturers, do not offer any new evidence to counter the FDA's claim that the drug is ineffective during their presentation Monday. So they knew. They knew when they had no information to long-term use can affect memory. The group shared a survey that found 1 in 2 households in the US use an oral decongestant over the last year. It also found people prefer oral decongestants to nasal spray 3-1. Damn straight! 9 times out of 10 when you use a nasal decongestant, it drips, and it's gross. The group also said that other effective alternative options would not be easily accessible, a claim disputed by the Advisory Council. We do have an effective alternative to pseudoephedrine, said committee member Dr. Marianne Amishahi, the professor of emergency medicine at Georgetown University School of Medicine, referring to the ingredient found in Sudafed. That bar of the product really isn't as high as was described. Okay, so there we go. So someone's got shares in pseudoephedrine. Or the company that owns the patent to it anyway. Advil, cold and sinus is better anyway. Oh, there you go. What's that? Hunter Biden smoked cheese and got high with it. Oh, Jesus. So now let's move on to a police standoff that ended with a very well-protected empty house. A SWAT team has not found a suspect after a 12-hour standoff in Milpitas. Yep, they had a 12-hour standoff with an empty house. The Milpitas Police Department SWAT team was involved in a standoff that lasted more than 12 hours on Sunday night into Monday morning. The SWAT team never located the suspect that it was searching for. Police responded to a home on Spence Avenue at about 7:05 p.m. Sunday for a reported domestic violence incident. Responding officers saw the suspect in the front of the house, and an officer attempted to detain the suspect, but he ran into a yard on the side of the house. Other officers established a perimeter and used a drone to search for him. Officers searched the area, including Spangler Elementary School. They believe the suspect went into the house, per MPD. The officers made loudspeaker announcements, but did not get a response from the suspect. Police say they believe that the suspect was ignoring them. A judge authorized a warrant for the suspect's arrest, and the SWAT team was called. SWAT waited until daylight to enter the home and did so at 7:23 a.m., but the suspect was long gone. It was later determined that he did not enter the home after fleeing from officers. SWAT team had a boomer 12-hour moment. Yes. Because why not? Okay, I thought this was interesting. A tech company boasts that its AI can predict crime with social media policing while fighting Meta in court because, thought crime is crime, but more to the point, by analysing the pictures of you holding your puppy dog, it can determine whether or not you're going to commit a crime. A tech company boasts the ability to use artificial intelligence to predict crime in the midst of a privacy lawsuit with Meta, formerly Facebook, that wants it banned from the social media platform. Wonder why Meta wants it banned. That's interesting. The New York City and Los Angeles police departments, 2 of the US's largest police agencies, are among a growing list of law enforcement agencies in the US and around the world to contract with Voyager Labs. In 2018, the New York Police Department agreed to a nearly $9 million deal with Voyager Labs, which claims it can use AI to predict crimes according to documents obtained by Surveillance Technology Oversight Project. Stop. This sounding a little bit like Minority Report to anybody? Yeah, pre-crime is here. Dude was probably at home watching the TV, watching it, laughing his ass off. Yeah. If your standoff lasts more than 12 hours, see your doctor. The company bills itself as a world leader in AI-based analytics. Investigations can comb through mounds of information from all corners of the internet, including social media and the dark web, to provide insight, uncover potential risks, and predict future crimes. So now we're developing precogs, apparently. But Meta says in a federal lawsuit that Voyager Labs created at least 55,000 fake accounts on Facebook and Instagram to collect personal data to uncover behavioral patterns, infer human behavior, and build a comprehensive presence on their targets. I've got $50 on the fact that Meta's pissed off that they did not get paid for this. Would be my bet. Hang on, I just want to have a quick look at something. Yes, because I suck at spelling. There it is. This includes 17,000 fake accounts after Meta revoked Voyager Labs' access after filing the federal lawsuit on January 12. Essentially, Voyager Labs can use someone's social media history to retrace everyone's steps and potentially predict their next movements, according to Meta. Surveillance to the nth degree, and we've already got police departments signing up to use it. Combine this with the fact that they're removing cash from society. Combine this with the fact that we have so much government oversight already. Every single step of our lives is going to be able to be analysed, reviewed, and determined by someone else. At what point do we pull out the torches and pitchforks, people? Not that I'm in any way encouraging violence, but I'm not okay with this. A New York Police Department spokesperson told Fox News Digital in an email that it uses social media analytics tools to aid personnel in uncovering information relevant to investigations and to address public safety concerns. That includes gun violence and various other threats against people, places, and events. Okay, to be fair, if all the AI is doing is going through Facebook and finding pictures of those, for example, those idiots during the XXX Tentacion trial, where they're on social media with their guns in their hands, throwing money on the bed, maybe the AI is not as good as we thought. Delete Facebook history several times a year. I don't know that it'll make a difference, Glowy, because if it's being collected in real time, then it's not really going to matter. Includes gun violence, various threats against people, places, and events, according to the NYPD spokesperson, who specifically said the department does not use the features that would be described as predictive of future criminality. Oh, I call bullshit on that. This should be even less admissible in polygraphs. It probably would be, but if they can use this to gain a probable cause use it to establish probable cause for an affidavit for a search warrant or something, it doesn't need to be admissible. It just needs to be able to be provided for a judge or for a reasonable reason for a police officer to have probable cause to request a search warrant. Yeah, okay. Future criminality, my ass. With increasing frequency, offenders engaging in terrorism, gang violence. I love how they always pull out the T word. I swear to God, there is no way in hell that this is mainly being used for that. Maybe like 5, maybe 10% of the investigations that are being used for this may involve that. But that is what they're going to hide behind. Gang violence, cybercrimes, financial fraud, human trafficking, and many other crimes utilize social media in furtherance of their unlawful activities. Voyager assists the department in preventing victimization and apprehending those offenders. William Colston, a spokesperson for Voyager Labs, told Fox News Digital that he can't get into specifics on how and when the company's AI was used, but he said they're very proud to have busted child trafficking rings and combating terrorism. Look, on the child trafficking rings and terrorism, congratulations. But that's all it should be limited to. It should not be turned on to the public for minor crimes, for pre-crime, as we're calling it. I mean, what's next? They start issuing speeding fines because they go through and detect that you traveled from point A to point B faster than you should have? Wait, they already have those. That's point-to-point speed cameras, but that's not the point. I'm talking about them using your phone data to determine that. Meanwhile, Stop, a privacy advocacy non-profit, described Voyager Labs' tactics as a new digital form of stop and frisk that targets Black and Latino New Yorkers, according to Stop Communications director Will Owen. Okay, you had me until you brought race into it. Can pre-crime still get you pregnant? Probably. Oh, they didn't just try it, Jay. They've still got it here. This is invasive, it's alarming, and it should be illegal, Owen said on September 8. Our constitution requires law enforcement to get a warrant prior to searching the public, but increasingly police and prosecutors just buy our data instead. This isn't just bad policing, it's not just enabling companies to steal our data, but it's a flagrant end run around the constitution. So what do they claim in the lawsuit? The ongoing federal lawsuit is a heavyweight bout that pits powerful AI's potential public safety use against an individual's privacy. It's an ongoing struggle that many experts predict will continue to be waged as AI becomes more advanced and readily available. Voyager Labs allegedly collected data from more than 600,000 Facebook users between July and at least September 22, according to Meta's lawsuit filed in California federal court on January 12. That includes users' timeline information, photos, videos, lists of friends, posts, education and employment, and self-disclosed location information. Of course it does. The legal action was filed in California because Meta says Voyager Labs allegedly scraped information from non-profits, universities, news organizations, healthcare facilities, US armed forces, and all levels of government associated with the state between July 4 and 7, 2022. Among Data's demands is Voyager Labs' removal from all of their sites and deletion of all collected materials. They hit back saying that the lawsuit is meritless in a January 18 statement and said Meta's legal action reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of how the software products at issue work and, more importantly, is detrimental to the US and global public safety. What's the saying? Those who give up their freedom for safety deserve neither. Law enforcement organizations worldwide use software to analyze their own internal intelligence data as well as other publicly available information to address critical challenge. Yet you shouldn't be using publicly available information. Just because it's on someone's Facebook page. I equate this to them coming past your, driving past your house, taking note of what the outside of your house looks like, and seeing what they can like scrape off of that to determine whether or not you're going to put the bins out on Monday. Like, this is not okay. IRS is using AI to audit US taxpayers, so why not pre-crime now? Too bad the elites aren't going to be targeted. Own intelligence data as well as public information to address critical challenges such as human trafficking, internet crimes against children, gang violence, homicide, narcotics trafficking, and terrorism. Okay, fine. So put legislation in place that limits its use to that. That absolutely limits its use to that. Colston said Voyager Labs has denied Meta's accusations that it scrapes data from Facebook users in statements and court filings and categorically rejected their software is designed to infringe on civil liberties. He echoed the NYPD's statement to The Guardian in an email to Fox News Digital, saying malicious actors utilize social media platforms and other resources to engage in a variety of nefarious behaviors, all in a manner that is publicly available. And that includes targeting and abusing children, recruiting and training those who would engage in violent acts, he said. What's that? Fraud for hire commercial. Now I'm curious.
Hello, my dear friend. You've reached the Open Up S channel. My name is Sanchez. Yes, I sell Chase bank accounts. Yes, I am one of the first people who started to sell bank accounts 4 years ago, but actively working in this field began in 2022. We started with my partner 4 years ago. Now we are about 30 people in one office. I will answer a couple of questions. Buyers ask where I disappeared. In fact, I did not go anywhere. I am still with you. At the moment, we are resting with the team because we worked for a year without breaks. It was very difficult. When is the next update? I can't say for sure, but I'm sure it will be in the coming weeks. We are preparing for you, Agent Chase, at a good price. This is just the beginning. It will be even better.
No, Aaron, that was a commercial that was left on the dark web for individuals who are looking to purchase bank accounts, apparently. Untraceable ones, I presume. His hand movements don't match the words. Sounds like a great resume. Would buy from him. It's very important to note that our software is designed to analyze only publicly available data that has been affirmatively placed into the public sphere, or data that has been obtained through a warrant or other legal process. There it is. If Meta is truly committed to protecting its users and acting in the public interest, then the use of analytical software by those trying to stop malicious actors should be embraced and encouraged. I've been hunted by him in Dead by Daylight. The civil legal action continues to wind its way through federal court. Voyager Labs filed a motion to dismiss the case. On July 26, a judge denied the request to hold discovery until there's a resolution on the motion to dismiss the case. The most recent filing was on August 31, in which both sides had a pre-settlement conference via telephone. Potential conferences are set for between September 25 and November 10, but a date hasn't been set in stone. Is his name Sanchez? I think it actually was. What's the most recent stuff? I'm looking through the Pacer stuff. Order by the judge. Nope, so that's a denial. Do I want to look through this? Do we want to look through the court case? It's... how many pages are we? Oh, screw that. The complaint itself is 1,530 pages. Wait, how big's this statement of facts? Factual allegations. Oh, excuse me. Oh, actually, the factual allegations are only 18 pages. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Man who allegedly used family home to import and produce childlike dolls has been denied bail, as well the twisted fucker should. An Adelaide man accused of importing and producing childlike dolls at his Elizabeth Downs family home has been denied bail. Jeffrey Mew, 41, was arrested in August this year after the Australian Federal Police intercepted childlike silicone dolls allegedly being sent to his home address. The intercept triggered a search by both South Australian Police and the AFP, which led to the alleged discovery of small silicone-shaped doll parts, molds, firearms, child exploitation material, and methamphetamine. The prosecutor argued against Mr. Mew's application for bail given the serious nature of the charges. We do have a strong case against the defendant, she said. The prosecutor told the state's magistrates court that police allegedly found silicone products that the ABC has chosen not to detail, a plastic mold in the size and shape of a child's torso, and another object believed to be midway through production of a childlike sex doll.
Fuck you! Fuck the both of
She added several firearms, ammunition, 2 grams of methamphetamine, electronic scales, and cash were allegedly found at the address. His lawyer, Casey Isaacs, argued his client should be given bail, given his trial is likely to start in 2025. Fuck that. Saying Mr. Mew would be spending a significant time in custody. Yep. The defense lawyer added that the prosecution would likely find it difficult to prove the dolls were childlike. There's going to be significant difficulties in reaching a case to answer in respect to those matters, where it's alleged that the silicone dolls, 115 centimeters in height with no other defining features. Are they seriously saying that their argument is going to be that they were making midget sex dolls? No, there is no sound on the trigger warning. Mainly because every time I use a sound effect from Canva, I get copyright claimed, and then I have to go through the process, and at some point I'm going to find my own audio to put in there. I just whipped that up last night when I saw that there were going to be a couple of pieces of a couple of news articles about CP and stuff. The The court heard Mr. Mew had the support of his wife and a friend who offered to be guarantors if he was released. One supporter audibly expressed disappointment in court when the Chief Magistrate denied him bail on the grounds of the serious nature of the charges he was facing. The supporter who had volunteered to be his guarantor told media outside the court charges were bullshit and reiterated that the dolls had no defining features. No defining features yet. Which is true, because then we're looking at pre-crime, because, you know... Okay, sorry, just have to check on some stuff for that. That's fine. Okay. Alright, moving on. Bad choice of doll design for transporting your meth. Yeah. And keeping on with the kids stuff, but this is a little bit more the other way. Child, we'll call him a child, he was 14, he was a teenager, who stabbed and stomped another teenager to death after a Melbourne house party has been sentenced over the murder. A child who plunged a knife into a 16-year-old and then returned to stomp on the dying boy will spend up to 15 years in prison over his role in the group attack. The boy was aged 14 when he and a group of teens pounced on Declan Cutler as he left a house party in Melbourne's north in March 22, the Victorian Supreme Court was told. The court heard that the group had met up earlier at the house in Tarneet before driving over to a reservoir party after seeing a series of antagonistic videos posted online. Declan became separated from his friends and was walking alone down the street. The court heard that the group's car pulled up and that 8 teens carrying 4 knives got out of the vehicle before Declan was pulled to the ground by his jumper. As he lay on the nature strip, some of the group began stabbing him while others stomped and kicked him, the court heard. The teens left in the car and returned briefly to stomp on him again and take his shoes. Declan bled to death on the ground after suffering more than 50 stab wounds. The attack was frenzied, savage, and totally unprovoked, said Justice Elizabeth Hollingworth on Tuesday as she sentenced 3 of the alleged attackers. The boy was jailed for up to 15 years after he pled guilty to murder. He admitted to stabbing, kicking, and stomping on Declan and removing one of his shoes. The boy, who is now aged 16, must serve at least 10 years of his sentence before he will be eligible for parole. Hollingworth recommended that the Adult Parole Board continue to hold the boy in the youth justice system until he turns 21. An 18-year-old who was 16 at the time and who pled guilty to manslaughter after being armed with a knife and stomping on Declan was sentenced to 4 years in youth detention. A third teen at the same age admitted to kicking Declan and pled guilty to intentionally causing serious injury. He was handed a 3.5-year youth detention term. All 3 appeared in court via video link from the youth detention. The judge denounced knife crime as she sentenced the youth, saying it was frightening for the wider community. Violent knife crime committed by young offenders has become far too common. Supporters of Declan sat in court for the sentences wearing t-shirts with "In loving memory of DJs, forever in our heart." Yes, Kyla, there is actual laughter that comes in on these. Some days we have to cover news articles that aren't particularly great. Some days it's a little bit darker than others, so I apologise if you've come in on a day where there's not a great deal of humour. Well, I mean, the main offender got 15 years, minimum of 10. The other 2 seem like they got a slap on the wrist, which I think is a little bit BS. Where are we? Okay. Entitled woman tried to hog a whole row of plane seats. She swore at me when I took one. It can feel like you've hit the jackpot when you're in a row of 3 plane seats, sat next to your pal and there's a seat free next to you. It means important things such as books and snacks can be placed in the middle seat, and you can spread out as much as you like, because planes are not roomy by any means, even in the best of circumstances. I can attest to that, having been on a plane for 18 hours. Somehow, as many of you will have already heard, on the way back from America, I got an entire row to myself, but because I was a dumbass and went with the premium economy, we had the seats that didn't fold up. So, that's not great. Where are we? But what would you do if you boarded a plane and someone was purposely trying to save a whole row of seats, meaning you couldn't sit down? You'd be less than impressed and when you just wanted to sit to somewhere to base yourself. And this one passenger said, they didn't let entitled passengers save seats. The woman took to Reddit, because of course she did, to write what happened and explaining that they intentionally made sure to check right in on time to get that boarding. The passenger said, I got on the plane and the woman was about the 6th row window seat with a purse in the middle seat and a scarf on the aisle. I stopped and asked if someone was sitting there, of course, and she said she was saving the seats for her nieces. I asked if they were already on the plane, knowing they obviously weren't, or they'd be in their seats. She tried telling me, yes, they are. So I moved her scarf and looked her right in the eyes as I put my carry-on in the overhead bin and said, I'm sitting in this seat. Nice and confrontational. But anyway. Glowy says they're a first-class flyer only because they're an entitled wanker. She looked to the man in the seat behind her, presumably her husband, who was also trying to save the entire row for their family that was on the last boarding group. They made sounds of discontent, called me a bitch, tried to tell me that the flight attendants told them they could do that, and whined about how their nieces are just little girls. They were teenagers. Oh, so they were actual nieces. I refused to move. I told her if she wanted the family to sit together at the front of the plane, the next time they should pay to upgrade everyone's boarding pass, because I'm not catering to your entitled, selfish bullshit, so it felt so damn good. In the comments, people backed up the woman for sitting where she wanted to. Do you guys not have a... Hang on, where was the assigned seating on this? Hell yeah, you rock. Congratulations. If you want to sit together, pay up or sit in the back. None of this seat saving at the front of the plane bullshit. Another said, I've flown with friends before that booked separately, and we always push to the back. Much easier that way, and we can all hang out together. Someone else wrote, we need more of this. I always pay for the early bird because I want to sit with my husband and son. I guess I'm naive because it never occurred to me to just pay for one early boarding and save seats for them. Never sit in a seat that was not assigned pre-flight. In the States, it's federal law. Well, there you go. Alrighty. Mother sues state and federal government. No. See, now I'm paranoid that I haven't been entertaining enough. Probably haven't, but anyway. Do you want an immensely large Halloween Frankenstein monster? Elevate your Halloween game with the ultimate statement piece that's sure to turn heads and raise eyebrows in your neighborhood. The 20-foot Ty Pennington inflatable fabric Halloween Frankenstein monster. Is this just a single... How did this make it into the news? Single mum with a passion for writing. Well, maybe write more interesting articles, and then I'll give you more in terms of... Okay. Popular tri-state Luke Skywalker impersonator has died, according to a coroner report. I'm sorry, what? An impersonator has died, according to a coroner's report. In Ohio, a tri-state man known for his Luke Skywalker impersonations died by apparent suicide following his arrest for child porn. Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay, 1, that's horrific given his chosen profession. Kind of looks like Mark Hamill, though. 2, I just can't win today. Oh shit, what did I just close? Oh no, we already got that one anyway. That's the SWAT. Sean Douglas in court. Shit, I think I'm... Got that. It legitimately was a slow news day today, people. I'm not gonna lie. Cut that out. Got that. Wait, where's the guy that got... Oh, there we go. Former employee sues for racial discrimination after receiving a phallic-shaped chocolate from a HR rep. Warning, this article contains descriptions of behavior some may find offensive. Reader discretion is advised. There's plenty more room on the wall. A former janitorial employee of a Portland property maintenance company is suing, accusing the company of racial discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. According to the lawsuit in May 22, Stephen Urenda was a janitorial operations manager at Aspen Ridge Property Services when he was sent a phallic, black, chocolate model to his home. The package was sent by Jessica Carlin, a human resources supervisor at Aspen Ridge Property Services, who left her name on the package along with a sexually explicit note. Carlin's husband, Patrick, was an employee at the company under Urenda's supervision. The lawsuit alleges that Patrick Carlin had previously complained to his wife Jessica about Urenda. According to the lawsuit, Jessica Carlin also admitted to using sexual explicit language to criticize Urenda to management shortly before the incident. In the aftermath of the incident, instead of firing Jessica Carlin, the suit alleges that the company's owner, Matthew McCasline, and John Scott Paxman offered Urenda a $50 gift card and promised an apology for Carlin, which he never received. As a human resources employee, the lawsuit said that Jessica Carlin had access to Urenda's personal information and that she was aware that he has biracial children. Oh, shit. The package arrived when Urenda's wife and daughter were home, and the lawsuit said that they were deeply disturbed by the contents and message. Urenda was made to continue being responsible for locations where Patrick Carlin worked, and Jessica Carlin retained her position, the lawsuit said. Urenda said that while working, there were multiple instances where trailers he loaded with garbage were later emptied and strewn across the workplace. To allow a supervisory employee in a position of power, especially with one for the responsibility for human resources functions, to act in such a blatantly racist and harassing manner toward an employee is inexcusable, though. But the retaliation my client received while advocating for some basic human dignity and safe working environment went a step beyond, said Daniel Leroux, Urenda's lead attorney. We hope this case sends a clear message that if an Oregon company allows this level of outrageous behavior, they will be held accountable. What's wrong with saying Urenda? Urenda, that's his last name. I have no issue saying that whatsoever. I really wish that I could get a hold of the copy of the complaint, because the odds are that there is a photo attached of the... How did they describe it? A phallic black chocolate model. Oh, please. Still life, if I'm going to hell for hate speech, you're going to the seventh circle. So, I really don't care. Don't complain about Urenda? No. Let's see, let's skip over that. We can skip that too. Oh, apparently September 12, 2023 is the National Day of Encouragement, because every day is a day. National Day of Encouragement observed on September 12. It's dedicated to encouraging and having a positive impact on those around us. Remember, people, you are not a piece of shit. You do have value and you do contribute to society. These people said so. Big question, did anyone take a bite? Maybe just the tip. Where are we? I love how they linked the company's website in that, though. Hang on, let me have a look. Surrege court document. Come on, New York Post. You can do it. You can do it. Have it linked. Have it linked. They don't have the document, but they do have photos. How did I not go with New York Post first? The property manager. Where are we? An Oregon property maintenance company is being accused of harassment by a former employee who says HR manager sent him a penis-shaped cake and told him to eat a dick. Stephen Urenda, who was the janitorial operations manager at Dasher Lights LLC. Maybe that's why I couldn't find it, because they had it under that. Hang on. Pacer. Please be there. Please be there. Please be there. Please be there. I kind of want to read this now. Relevance, newest cases. Please be there. Please be there. Please be there. Doesn't look like it. Damn it. He's seeking over $500,000 in damages after he was forced to resign over the increasingly hostile work environment, according to the lawsuit filed in Multnomah County Court. Urenda said in the suit filed on August 25 that trouble began when he received a pink box in May 22 containing a large black chocolate penis and a scrotum alongside the bold letters reading, "Eat a dick." These nuts! Urenda, who is Hispanic, was disgusted by the obvious racial implications of mailing a large black chocolate penis to his household. Dude, okay, as bad as it sounds, now that I know you're Hispanic, I'm starting to think you're the one that's racist. It could have just been that it was a chocolate cake dick. There may be no racism to that whatsoever. Unless, of course, the other employees are black, and then maybe, but this... Yorenda's dad should have put it in her mum's ender. Yeah, BBC. Oh, Yorenda, who's Hispanic, was disgusted by the obvious racial implications. When he shared it with his partner and his child, who is biracial and identifies as black. Eat a dick. White chocolate is gross. I'd laugh and then cut the cake. Both Yorenda's partner and the young child saw the package's contents, the lawsuit said. The uncouth delivery was allegedly sent by Human Resources employee Jessica Carlin, whose name and information were accidentally left on the offensive package. The suit claims that Carlin had recently admitted to calling him a huge dick and had apparently made other similar derogatory statements about him to management. Good dear God, do not at any point in your employment, do not say that someone else in your office is a dick. Cake is cake, who cares? Put some candles on it. No one will notice. Well, I mean, it reminds me of the episode of Friends with Emma's birthday cake. They pick up a cake and it's a giant penis, and instead Ross uses like a piece of cardboard to turn it into a bunny. And she's like, well, I just split this thing and made it ears, and then these were the rosy cheeks. By the end of the month, however, Yorenda received the package that made him feel like a resident piece of shit now at the company, the complaint added. Jessica Carlin fessed up to sending the package. Well, if your details are on it, you're pretty well screwed anyway. Telling Yorenda she ordered it for him because she was very sensitive when it came to her husband. And that had... You make my heart blossom. Yorenda said he confronted Dasher owner Matthew Castline about how the package made him feel, but he said he got the impression from him he wanted to end the conversation and sweep the issue under the rug as soon as possible. I'm shocked. Despite the reported confession, Carlin was allowed to remain working at Dasher, the suit stated. Look, was it a dick move? Yes. Do I think it's enough to get her fired? I think that this is outside of the bounds of the employment relationship, though. I mean, if there'd been any sort of other connection aside from the fact that they worked together, I mean, it wasn't delivered at work. It wasn't. I don't see this as a fireable offense personally, but it's still stupid. Don't do it. Bakery boner. Yeah. He was left feeling degraded and humiliated by the process, which he alleged resulted in bullying when garbage he collected in the company trailer was dumped back out by the following day. He ultimately resigned in July, less than 2 months after Carlin allegedly sent him the offensive cake. Well, you don't have to say allegedly sent it to him. It had her details on it. We know she sent it. Excuse me. To allow a supervisory employee in a position of power, especially one with a responsibility for human resources functions, to act in such a blatantly racist and harassing manner, I think you're still going to have a hard time meeting the racist requirement here. I mean, yeah, sure, he has a child that is biracial. That's still a stretch for me. I think more likely what's happened is he's gotten into some sort of confrontation with her husband. She's decided to go, yeah, let's send him a dick. And you know what? I'll send him either the cheapest one or just one that I find, like, whatever one's available, basically. Twinkies and snowballs, maybe. Is this even that bad? When was the last time someone sent you a cake? Well, there is that. As bad as it sounds, I don't have a lot of sympathy for this guy. He got free cake, and there's probably more to this story than we are being told. That's kind of why I want to look at the court documents. Retaliation my client received while advocating for some basic human dignity and a safe working environment went the step beyond. This didn't happen at work. Yes, she called him a dick. That happens. That's one of the vicissitudes of life. That's the ebbs and flows. Not everyone in your office is going to like you. Occasionally, people are going to talk behind your back. They may call you a dick. They may call you a turd. They may call you any number of things. Have a cup of concrete, princess. I'm not eating a cake that says eat a dick. Well, everything has racial undertones now, don't you know that? Well, It's like there's a company here where you can send a bag of gummy dicks. And it's literally eat a bag of dicks. Actually, hang on. Where is... I'm going to regret typing this in. There it is. Glitter bomb your enemies. Eat a bag of dicks. You can literally, like, you can send glitter. You can spring-loaded sperm bomb. But I eat a bag of dicks is still the funniest one. Like, honestly, I just think this guy needs to get a sense of humor. Clearly, there was some sort of disagreement, whatever. Yes, she took it too far. Do I think that it's employment related? No. No, I don't. Didn't Ricada get a huge gumming schlong? Maybe. I'm unaware. That is something I am not aware of. So, but anyway, where is... Okay, I just want to cover this and then I'll probably wrap it up for the day, I think. Dave Pavlo challenges Brisbane City Council over anti-Chinese Communist Party meme. That's right, people that complain about the Communist Party are now being censored by the local government. A protester has challenged fines he received from Brisbane City Council for holding up a sign with a meme mocking the Chinese Communist Party. Dave Pavlo fronted Brisbane's Magistrates Court on Tuesday, where he fought to overturn 2 fines that he received on May 17 last year. The court heard he had been holding up a handwritten sign with the message, "Nothing happened on June 4, 1989, changed my mind," outside the Chinese consulate on Adelaide Street. The sign was a reference to the Tiananmen Square massacre, as well as a meme from the controversial pundit Stephen Crowder. On you, Crowder. The council's prosecution said the sign constituted political advertising and that Mr. Pavlo had not obtained a permit to advertise in the Adelaide Street Mall. The legal gymnastics that they have to do to get to this point of being able to fine him. Political advertising. It's a freaking protest. I'm sorry, that's actually one of the few things that is guaranteed under our constitution, is freedom of political expression. So I don't like their odds on this, and I'm curious to see what the magistrate said. The prosecution told the court the sign was clearly political, especially given that Mr. Pavlo had also brought a printed sign that said, "Vote 1 for Drew Pavlo, Democratic Alliance." Okay, there you might be in trouble. Mr. Pavlo had received 1 fine for failure to obtain consent and another for refusing to comply with a direction to move on. Mr. Pavlo's defense barrister, Anthony Morris, rejected the claims that the handwritten sign constituted advertising. Mr. Morris said Mr. Pavlo was exercising freedom of expression, which was protected under Section 21 of the Queensland Human Rights Act. Holy shit, when did Queensland get a Human Rights Act? Merely making fun of someone, which is what he was doing, is not communicating advertising matter, he told the court. "I'm simply here to defend his right under Section 21 to express himself without going cap in hand to public officials in order to be permitted to do so." Mr. Morris told the court the senior customer liaison officer who handed out the alleged unlawful fine was acting quite outside the scope of his duties. In audio played in court, the officer told Mr. Pavlo to pack up his signs and move on before telling him, "I could have you arrested," when he refused. The magistrate adjourned the matter until October 3. God damn it, Your Honour. Why kick the can down the course? I wanted to see what you said. Mr. Pavlo said the 2 fines added up to $1,500 plus an additional $1,000 for challenging them in court. I'm sorry, what? They charge an additional fee for challenging it in court? He told the ABC outside court that in his view, the entire court case was a waste of taxpayer money. No shit, you think? This is your money as a taxpayer going towards an attempt to censor someone for protesting against the Chinese Communist Party in Brisbane, Australia. It only serves to underline my point about censorship, and it's bizarre that they're spending thousands of dollars on lawyers, solicitors, and barristers. Mr. Pavlo is also a self-described human rights activist, who has organised several protest events against the Chinese Communist Party. In March this year, he successfully overturned the charge of offensive behaviour for holding up a sign that said Xi Jinping... Your mother, in Mandarin at Eastwood. Oh, look. He was detained in the UK over an alleged bomb threat at some point, too. There you go. Oh, my good God. Okay. All right, where are we? Guys, I know this was a little bit short. As I said, it was a slow news day, and I'm hoping to get a few things sorted. But, please, I did put out a tweet. I did put out a YouTube post. I am looking to hear from you for whatever tall tales, whatever myths, whatever legal fictions, or just generally things about Australia you have heard, so that I can debunk them or I can confirm them. We never know. Beyond that, I'm also looking at doing a little bit more in terms of comedy sketches, a few other things. I don't want to give too much in terms of plans, because the worst thing you can do is tell someone your plans, because then you never follow through with them, and you either look like a dick or you lose the motivation or whatever else. But yes, we're going to try and twist things up a little bit. But remember, people, as always, you are not a piece of shit. You do have value and you do contribute to society, especially if you hit that like button for me. Double check whether or not you're still subscribed, and I will see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow. Looking like I will be on Jeff's tonight for the Amber Heard readings. But yeah, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, people, and I shall catch you on the flip side. Peace out.
This shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.